Well, today is Sunday the 1st of May, and it's an absolutely stunning day here in Cape Town in the Western Cape. As I look around me, I'm standing here in Radloff Park, which is just down the road from my home, and this is one of my favorite places just to come and enjoy the view here under this big old tree. My home's just up that way a little bit, but this is really one of the most magnificent views that we have. The mountains in the background there, and every morning as I drive out to work, just having the privilege to see this. Now, as I mentioned, today is a Sunday, and at our church this morning we celebrated the sacrament of Holy Communion, and I'll still record a video about ecclesiology and the sacraments. But what struck me today about this notion of the sacraments is that as Christians we are called to be part of this sacramental community, and particularly the Eucharistic community. And I don't know if you've ever thought about what it means to belong to a Eucharistic community. Firstly, that word Eucharist comes from the Greek word Eucharisto, which means to celebrate or to praise, to honor, to glorify, to almost to have a party, one could say. And the Eucharistic community to which we belong as Christians is meant to be a place where we not only celebrate the goodness of life, but facilitate the kind of life that can be celebrated, in which young and old and rich and poor and people of different genders and races come to experience the joy of life in all of its fullness. Now, this notion of being a Eucharistic community is one of the essential elements that shaped not only my theology but also my ethics. Because you see, I was reminded again this morning as we celebrated the sacrament of Holy Communion that what makes that space unique is that the communion table, the Eucharistic table, is very different from the table in a restaurant or a coffee shop. And as I look at churches around the world today, I can see that somehow we've tended to adopt this metaphor that the table of the church, the central sort of place of invitation in the church, is our table, as if we are the ones in the Christian community who get to decide who is welcome at the table of the Lord. Now, that simply is not the case. The difference between a coffee table and a Eucharistic table is at a coffee table, you decide where you want to sit. You decide what it is that you want to eat. You're the one, in some senses, who pays for the service that you're receiving. And you can judge it then to say, well, this is the kind of service I like or don't like. But the Eucharistic table is completely different. You know, we are not the hosts at the table of the Lord. Christ himself is. He is the one who invites us into that space. And so that has a couple of consequences. It means that I don't get to decide who comes to that table. The people who are invited by Christ are the ones whom he loves, and my response is not to decide whether they belong there or not, but to figure out a way to honor them as he would, to love the people that Christ has invited. And that might mean that we are located next to people who are from a different economic class, or from a different culture or race, a different age group, perhaps even a different sexual orientation. So for me, that was one of the very special things that I experienced today as we were invited to the table of grace. Each one of us there, equally sinful, but equally loved and equally reached by the grace of Christ. So remember, this is not a lecture, it's just a thought. And perhaps today I can invite you just to think a little bit about what it may mean not to be the one who invites, but to be one of the invited ones. And what does it mean to live amongst the other invited ones at the table of the Lord? Because perhaps it may be true that the church is indeed a community of the Eucharist. So thanks for watching. I'm going to go and have some lunch with my family. I'm busy writing a chapter for a book which needs to be finished today, so there's a bit of work to be done there. And this afternoon I'll head out for another little run. I'm trying to fulfill my half commitment. You may have seen that blog. I'm running a half marathon before the end of the year, but today is just such a perfect day to do it. So thanks for watching, and I appreciate being able to share these thoughts with you. If you have any feedback that you'd like to offer, if you think about things differently, if you'd like to engage on any of the topics, then please leave me a comment in the comment section below. You can connect with me via Twitter or Beam or Instagram at Digital Dion. And if you feel that the video is worth sharing, if it will create a bit of conversation, show it elsewhere, use it I often say to people, my work has copyright. In other words, you have the right to copy it. Use it in whatever way it can be used. So thanks for watching. Have a wonderful day.